Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Gina Lee.
Good morning, Party. Good morning, CC.
Good morning,
Cindy.
Good morning, baby. Good morning, Gina Lee, and happy Veterans Day to all the veterans. Thank you for your
Happy Veterans Day. Hands up, hands up, hands up. Happy Veterans Day to everybody that serves. Shout out to the great late Catherine Tates and Waters Tates, my brother Darnell Tates, Andre Tates, my nephew Andre Tates, just everybody that played a part in over there. And remember that we always pray for y'all on every episode. Everybody that's over there disrupting their life, playing soldier in them God-forsaken wars. Hoorah, hoorah, hoorah! Shout out to my big boy, Big Stan, you know what I mean, who lives and breathes. Hayes and his nephews over there serving. Just everybody. How y'all feel, everybody, today?
Feeling
good. Is your army fatigue too, Gina, in salute of the soldiers?
Yeah.
Okay, I got my army fatigue on too in salute of the soldiers. You know what I mean? Hoorah!
Hoorah!
There you go. Yeah, there go me. Yeah. CC ain't with the theme today.
I'm the odd man out today, but that's okay.
Yeah, we'll take it. Hey, on a serious note, y'all, real talk. Everybody out there, thank you for your service. I mean, random acts of kindness today. You happen to be in McDonald's and a soldier coming there and he's standing there and he orders a $3 meal. Why not pay for it?
That's right.
You in Home Depot, you see somebody get a paintbrush and you're a soldier. Why not pay for it? They call it random act of kindness. The panel always talks about it. Do something for somebody today. You have no idea what is going on in this world over there fighting them God-forsaken wars. All right, let's get into the prayer because I got to get into my part. I'm doing some housework. I'm on some honeydew today, Gina.
All right.
CC, I don't know. She living her best life now. Marion used to always say, what Marion say?
Living your life like it's golden.
She living her life like golden. Every time we go, she changed something. She put up a basket. Now she wants 2 baskets. Now it's too dark in the corner where the baskets are. You can't make this up. This is out of control. This smoothie diet thing. This smoothie is something. I think it'd be cheaper to just buy a bunch of chicken boxes. Movies or something. But I mean, I'm happy for my wife that's doing that thing. All right, y'all, let's get into prayer. Father God, thank you for the wonderful things that's going on in our lives. Father God, we always start our prayer out with everybody over there fighting them God-forsaken wars, losing mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, nephews, cousins. You have persons over there losing sights, losing home, losing vision, losing limbs. Father God, please keep them. Please honor them today. Everybody out there, please honor those persons today because we need you. Father God, we always have a special prayer for everybody out there fighting that God-forsaken war against the pandemic. Anybody that's not vaccinated, please get out there and hold them still. Father God, if you need me, I'm your faithful servant. I'll hit them with that needle. I'm Party. Father God, we want a special prayer today. Real talk. Let me slow this down. Special prayer today for the veterans. Special prayer today for the veterans. This is Veterans Day. This isn't a laughing and joking thing. Today is the Veterans Day. Father God, moment of silence for everybody that's over there fighting God-forsaken wars, for the families of anybody or the person itself that lost his life, to make it easy for us to leave these cushiony lives we lead. Moment of silence for any and all vets, please. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, real talk, y'all. This Veterans Day is one hell of a tribute, y'all. Please take it seriously. Please take it seriously. Random act of kindness. Anybody. Any small thing you can do for a vet, let's do it today. Okay, y'all. Let's get into our podcast. Gina Lee is chipper today. She's not dressed in a uniform. They might have did Gina Lee like they did me and fired me.
They would never.
These people at work gonna tell me to write a statement. We call that in West Baltimore snitching. You know what I mean? You over there, you know somebody did something at the job and they gonna get everybody to write a statement. I ain't write no statement about anybody. You know, look at the camera, you know what's going on, you know what it is, write a statement. I told you. I'm not writing no statement about anybody. Now I'm gonna get in trouble for not writing a statement. Well, if that's how you see it, okay, in trouble I am. Everybody failed to realize Ray Lewis was never accused of stabbing anybody. Once again, drum roll, please. Ray Lewis was never accused of stabbing anybody, of murdering anybody. Ray Lewis tried to get in his car, out of his limo. Them chumps over there said they're going to take their coat. I'm going to take your fur coat, Ray. He from Baltimore. Guess what? We don't give up our coats that easy. Give him my coat. Ray Lewis tried to leave and go to the car. On his way going to the car, they decided to follow him. His homeboy said, I ain't Ray. You ain't following me and think that it's cool, calling me all kind of obscene names and gestures and stuff like that. You know what I mean? As Gina Lee, we used to say at the swimming pool, hit me and can't fight. That's what happened. Hit me and can't fight. And then they lost. I'm sorry they lost their lives. But on up to the part that you played. You came over there and tried to take somebody's coat. That's what it was all about. You left the coat alone, you still have your life. Now people get mad at me for saying what people want to say but don't say. Ray Lewis and them wasn't bothering nobody. They was dancing at the club, having a nice time. You decide you're going to take their coat. You took their coat and took your life. Now you the bad guy. That segue into my topic. Let me get in there in my topic. My topic today is these cats over here finally getting brought to justice about the assault on the Capitol. You can call it whatever you want. That's what it was. The assault on the Capitol. One more time. Oh, please. The assault on the Capitol.
Right.
What over there in Africa or Guam, it's called a coup, right, ladies? Right, panel?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Over here in America, it's an act of terrorism. You were no different than the Palestine. You were no different than anybody else, the Al-Qaeda. It was an act of terrorism. It was a coup. You tried to take over something. Now that chump, Trump, don't want to own up to the shortcomings and he get ready to be prosecuted. He gonna say that he got a buy.
Executive privilege.
Yeah, essential privilege. In golf, we call it a mulligan. In the street, they call it a do-over. Gina and I the same age. What we call it? Gina, Jack, uncle. I give. Nah, Jack, my bad. Nah. They're locking them chumps up too. And them chumps is telling. And see, she was looking this morning, Gina. They had the guy over there. He was up there with the flag. He was all that doing his thing. They gave him 3 years, but they dressed it up. They gave him 37 months.
41.
41 months. They got a word for that. 41 months. 3.5 years, chump. I know what it's like to live on them tears. I know what it's like to be in them halls. I know what it's like to be in that courtyard. Hey, Jack, don't drop the soap, chump. Don't drop the soap, chump. Run around there, all of a sudden now you decide that, and then they said on national TV that part of his plea bargain is to work with the government. Huh? It's called telling. Now they told everybody on national TV, you not only is going to jail, you're a chump, you're a snitch.
There you go.
That's what you are now. Good old boy. Just a minute ago, you was tough. So everybody that's out there riding along, following the Trumpster. He said, what he tell him, y'all? I'm going with y'all. I'll be walking with y'all. He must have took the wrong turn.
Right. Him, Albuquerque.
Yeah, him won't with y'all. Anybody else that believed that lie he told? CC, tell him what you got for sale for him, see?
The Brooklyn Bridge, I got the deed. Y'all need me throw my cash app up there or what?
God damn, CC said she got a bridge she trying to sell. You idiots. Now y'all over there sitting there talking about going to jail. A minute ago, you was a big shot. You was sitting up there with your feet propped up in the presidential suite, running through there. Where they at? Where they at? You gonna get everybody. Now you over there going to jail and telling. They took them chumps' phones, Gina and Cece and Podcast Land. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Doc.
Morning.
Yeah, Doc, on my topic today, I'm talking about them people over there that helped storm the Capitol. And now they starting to bring them chumps to justice. One of them got 42 months and all that. And his plea bargain was never to go back to the Capitol again and aid and assist the government. Doc, in West Baltimore, we call you a snitch.
Mm-hmm.
Told everybody on national TV, your job, man, is to tell. Him a snitch. I am. What they don't call them the good old boys. What's the name of the Trump lead followers? What they call?
QAnon?
No, yeah, that's a slick word. I have to remember that.
QAnon, make America great.
Some kind of boys.
The Proud Boys.
Proud Boys. Proud Boys. Hey. Him
proud now.
Him ain't so proud now.
Mm-hmm.
Him going to jail and him a snitch. Don't drop the soap.
And that's the worst way to go to jail.
A snitch gonna be locked up 23 hours out of 24-hour day. And I'm gonna tell y'all something else. This is what y'all don't know about being a snitch. They always tell you they're gonna put you in a different population and put you here to separate you. Let me tell you something. 2 years from now, 3 years from now, they got so many snitches. They got so many beefs going on. So many people they transferring from penal institution to penal institution. You all of a sudden not as important now.
Mm-hmm.
You going back to population 2 years from now, chump. I'm gonna say this and tone this down as much as I can. Hope you like them dicks.
That was toned down.
Yeah, DIC. See, I say DIC. I ain't call them pipes. You know what I mean? I ain't call them the hokey pokey. I ain't call it the big kahuna. I said dicks, DIC. Because they're in your life now. They're in your story. It's people over there that's waiting on you, Jack. It's people that's waiting on you.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, that was my topic. Gina, any response on that topic?
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, they thought that Trump was going to pardon them.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
See, they were counting on, not having to face any prosecution whatsoever. And I'm glad to see that they're giving them something.
Uh-huh.
It really, it really isn't enough to me. Had it been, people of a different race, I believe that, it would have been much more time doled out. They
wouldn't have faked it when they found you hanging from that tree. They be standing right there next to you. Hung your black ass from that tree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I say is that we have gotten some justice, from what they did, but at the same time, it's really not enough. It's just a slap on the wrist, So
I'm with Gina. I'm pleased with the fact that they didn't just get away with it like they thought they were, but I think that the punishment should be very, very harsh to discourage it from ever happening again. When people get a light sentence, a slap on the wrist, it's a lot, but then it's not a lot because you got some people that can do 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So what's to stop them from doing it again? But ain't too many out here that's going to want to do 10 or 15. So I think that the punishment should have been a little harsher, but just the fact that is any punishment being held down because they just bullies and domestic terrorists, in my opinion. So anything that they get, they deserve it and much, much more.
I mean, really, think about it. You know people personally that probably have broken a grocery store that got more time than that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
That's so true. Doc,
Trying to get food.
right?
Mm-hmm.
your comment,
You know?
any comment on that, Doc?
You know what? To be honest with you, I think they need to get more. They need to pressure the ones they have to try to get more of the ones who were in there. And I say go after every last one because they're not really putting a highlight on the officers that died. They're
Right.
not putting a highlight on the ones that committed suicide shortly after that. And the ones who have been so traumatized that they won't go back to work.
There you go.
And I think that, there's been something that has been taken away that cannot be replaced.
Absolutely.
There's something that has been taken away from our government, our confidence in the government, and even in the world. We look different now.
Mm-hmm.
We had our federal government stormed, and with people with like tiki torches looking for even Mike Pence because he wouldn't be obedient and he couldn't do nothing on that day anyway. That's what he didn't even understand. He didn't have it in the power to say that Trump is still going to be the president. And so to me, with the damage that has been done, there's no time that they could actually give us. To me, I would want them to really be, I don't want to say indentured servants, but they need to be community service. They need to build back what they have helped to destroy, which is the confidence in, in the government and the safety of it.
Right.
And it was at the time being by a held president, by a president that was actually in office at the time, was the one that was at the helm, and his little imps that was following behind him. So I don't have no sympathy, for them. I'm normally never rooting for the prosecutor. I'm normally never rooting for the prosecutor. I'm always praying for the defendant and for the public defender, that's watching, that's trying to, get them off their case or whatever. But this, was something I think they need to make examples out of.
Exactly.
That's the good thing about that. Thank you, Doc, Gina, and CC. That's the good thing about the podcast and my panel. My panel, the diversity just impresses me at times. And I just thought about something that Gina said. Gina just said it's just not enough. That's plain as what they did was just not enough.
Even what they were charged with wasn't enough. If somebody lost their life, they should have been charged as accessory to murder, I believe.
Correct. Exactly.
See, CC just now killed my segue. Well, that's what she do. That's what I love about the panel. Doc just now hit you with some other things. I sit back and think they would run around looking for Pence, talking about hanging him. Literally, at one time, they said that it was literally 25 to 30 feet away from the area where the persons of power, the cabinet, was escaping to. They were at the end of that hallway. They measured. I think they said it was 33 feet away from there. That was it. They were literally a corridor away, a 33-foot corridor away when they were at that door. But let me tell y'all something that happened to me. When I got my charge, you know what I mean? I was charged with attempt murder. West Baltimore guy, some things happened. Somebody robbed me. I did what I had to do, so I thought, but I was wrong. And I'm sorry for that. But anyway, I realized Doc knows this. I did one act, and they read charges on me like I killed Al Capone.
Mm-hmm.
They charged me with attempt murder. They charged me with attempt manslaughter, discharging a firearm in the city limits, possession of a handgun. I had a joint in the ashtray. They charged me with distribution, manufacturing marijuana. I manufactured marijuana with a half a joint. I was sniffing dope and coke at the time. I had some heroin and a dollar bill, just enough for a 212. They charged me distribution, manufacturing. I ain't got no planes. I ain't distributing and nothing coming from Guam. They literally, Doc, Gene, and CC, they had, if I was found guilty on every charge, I put them together. Shout out to Eric Davis, who shared it to me. I would have had 337 years. One beef. Somebody shooting at me, I'm shooting at them. They missed. I didn't. You feel me? And now these people over here, as Doc and them have said, Gina said, CC said, loss of life, loss of limb, and then the residual effect of somebody committing suicide. All that's part of the charge. You get somebody like Doc with a PhD, I bet he could read charges on you for 20 minutes. That people at that coup, that takeover, that terrorist act could be charged with. 3 years. They talk about overthrowing government. Come on, man. I mean, some of this is ridiculous. When you listen to that, CC, to the panel, what's the kid name that shot the 3 Black Lives Matter people? What's his name on trial now?
Rittenhouse.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Him crying now. Him on TV.
No tears,
With
no
no
tears.
In my life.
With no tears.
Yeah.
I ain't seen out
No tears. Him say he was scared. Yeah, him was scared. Now a tear came out. You stand there shooting people and you were scared. How you think they felt? Now, when it was all over, when I asked CC what was said, CC said, Maurice, do you know what they trying to do, honey? I said, what? This judge has the power to make it so that this trial will be over. I said, then when they retry me, gonna do this. Said, baby, maybe you didn't hear what I said.
Retry him.
with
This
prejudice.
judge has the power to make this go away and they not retry it.
There you go.
And
Right.
Gina said something that's so heavy. You think George Floyd, you think they burnt the town down then? You think that George Floyd was bad? Let him get away with this crime. We'll be back in the Stone Age again. Back in the Stone Age, baby.
I can guarantee you his sentences are gonna equal the crime. I can
I
guarantee
mean, what,
you.
two murders and attempt murder. I don't know what you can get for that.
I
100
guarantee
years?
you, he probably get 30 months just like the Capitol rioters.
And he's young
crazy.
enough to come home. He's young enough to come home. What, he 20 years old? He a kid.
18.
Get 30 years, he home in 20.
And
He
got
can go back and live a regular life.
a semi-automatic weapon.
Yeah.
Now they trying to make it so that the whole thing can be dismissed, you know, and if they do it with prejudice, that means that he can't be retried for that.
Yes.
Exactly.
See, that's
That's
the difference. See, it could be dismissed and then they can pick the charge back up again.
Right.
But if he does it with prejudice because he's saying that he can't get a fair trial and what the lawyer did. And so, and to be honest with you, I can't say that the lawyer is not even in on this. I can't really 100% say that, you know, because it is just
He gave
the
him
judge
the
told him that he wasn't supposed to go in a certain direction, and he went there anyway.
He
And this
went
isn't
there
a new
anyway.
lawyer; he's a very seasoned lawyer, and so they let him get on that stand, and then he got some sympathy because he started acting like he was crying with no tears. But they already put. But the judge, though, to me, is very prejudiced already. He started out with saying that you can't call them victims, but you can call them looters, arsonists, you know what I'm saying, protesters. But the people who are dead are not victims.
They're not victims.
I got to call them a looter. I got to call them an arsonist. I can call them a protester. So already starting out that way. And then also when they put in there that he could have had under their hunting license law. So he was saying that technically he's saying that he could have had a lawyer. So now the only way they could look at it is if he was hunting. So that already rubs me the wrong way, that you have some men that were killed and somebody is now hiding under the hunting law. And so, some of this is really, not looking, so good, already. And then they don't want to talk about that he was on Facebook talking about he wanted to shoot some looters and shoplifters. He said he wanted to shoot shoplifters and looters.
And they weren't even allowed to introduce that into evidence. The judge banned them from even doing that.
That's part of the problem, is that they don't want all of the evidence. See, to me, if you're trying to get to the bottom of it, you need all of the truth.
Right.
And you know what? If the truth was going to exonerate him, if he's innocent, he don't have nothing to worry about.
Exactly.
If he really felt he was right and he was innocent, there should be nothing wrong with the truth coming out.
Absolutely.
Because the truth don't need support.
Right.
The truth just is what it is.
Right. But you know what? And that's funny. We got into it because that was my topic for today, was the Kyle Rittenhouse trial versus the McMichaels trial. And I don't call it.
Hold up. Y'all, I have some I have some honeydew stuff today. I'm working around the house, so I'm on my way to Home Depot. What I want to do is segue in right now to CC and her topic. She just said that that's our topic. This topic right here needs to be discussed in length, because we need to learn something about it. Because persons like myself, the novice, I own up to what I didn't see. Everybody on the panel saw that he didn't know tears came out when he cried. I missed that. I missed. Mark mentioned it. I know CC said it when we was watching it, and Gina came up with it from the start. I didn't even pay any attention. It didn't no tears come out. I didn't even pay attention. I own up to my shortcomings. I know about the trial. I know about the situation, but I don't know his name.
That was the fakest cry I ever seen.
Yes, it was. I mean,
CC. All right, baby. I'm stepping out, y'all. CC, get up in there. Everybody enjoy the show. I'm going to be listening from the car. CC, what's your topic today? Let's talk.
Okay. My topic is the Kyle Rittenhouse trial versus the McMichaels trial. Now, everybody will say the Ahmaud Arbery trial, but first of all, let's be clear. Ahmaud Arbery is not on trial. Who's on trial is the McMichaels, and I can't even think of the other fool name that took the video.
The video.
Yeah. But I just was looking at these two trials and just seeing that there are some really striking differences about the way that they are being tried. Because Kyle Rittenhouse, all the people that he killed, if I'm mistaken, somebody jump in, were Caucasians. They were just supporters of the Black Lives Movement, and they were out there doing it, protesting with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
And the McMichaels, of course, anybody who's unfamiliar, are the ones who gunned Ahmaud Arbery down, and in their trial said they trapped him like a rat. So, it's just, first of all, the Rittenhouse trial, we'll start there since that's where we were. But this prosecutor, as Doc said, is a seasoned prosecutor with many years' experience. He knows that when a judge gives instruction not to broach a certain subject, that's grounds for the dismissal, and it can be dismissed with prejudice. So, to me, I smell a rat. I smell a rat right there. You know what I'm saying? This is not like this is some first-year public defender that just got out of law school and didn't know better. He clearly knew better. The instruction was very clear. He knew he could tell a climate with the judge. This judge is obviously, to me, leaning towards the side of Kyle Rittenhouse, and he should have done everything in his power not to give them any reason to dismiss those charges. and he did everything in his power to give him a reason, as far as I'm concerned. And
He
somebody
did.
who clearly knew better. Now, with
Mhm.
this McMichaels trial, you know, they trying their best to, first of all, the jury pool to me was tainted because when they went to that one black juror, you know, and this is the culture, this is the climate of this section of Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to see the black man running down the street. I was reading some of the stuff that they said they trapped him like a rat. And the one who took the video said, did y'all get him? And I mean, just some of the stuff, somebody, the person that called the police went in the house and put their gun in their pocket and then stood behind a tree and called the police while he was being chased down like an animal in the street. You know, so it's just I just see some really the only reason that I think that they will, and to be completely honest, I really don't even see the McMichaels getting the punishment that they deserve because they made the jury pool more of people that probably have those same feelings. They say that this county was only 27% black. So, you know, it's just these, it's something disturbing, really disturbing about both of these trials to me, because I feel like that they setting it up so that they can both kind of skate. I don't think McMichaels is going to get off scot-free. I think that they will do some time, but it's not going to be nearly what they deserve. I don't think the punishment is going to be as severe because they are being literally judged by a jury of their peers. But this whole Rittenhouse situation, they looking at this like this poor baby and all of this stuff. He took AR-15 and went out there and then he said, well, he was going there to help. He was going there, he was a medic and all of this. He'd been a paramedic. He took his medical supplies because he was going to render aid to anybody that was injured. The car lot where he claimed that he was going with him and his friends to defend property, the police had moved the line past there. So the property that he went to defend was no longer in jeopardy. And the last time I checked, you cannot kill a person defending property. You know,
It's not his property, and the owners already said that they never told him to help us defend our property.
exactly. The owners probably got more insurance than he could ever think of. Anything that happened to their property is going to be covered.
Right.
Right.
So
Do
I mean,
y'all know that it was some people that was actually setting their own businesses on fire? It was some people that was actually destroying some of their own stuff, and they were taking out what they wanted, and they were doing this pretty much fraud, you know, and but they were doing that, and they were doing it, and you know, trying to, you know, get some extra money. And so the thing is that, you know, people were getting insurance claims. And so this guy just came over here. He wanted to be a part of the action. That's what he wanted to be a part of. He had to take a lot of posts down, but he didn't know really that it still has a footprint, you know what I'm saying, of certain things that you have posted and different things of that nature. So when you think you delete something, it's not always 100% deleted. And so they pulled up some things, and he was stating that he wanted to shoot shoplifters. And that's one of the things that they didn't want to come out, you know, as far as with him. So I think that they're already leaning in the position of trying to make this boy into a hero.
absolutely. And with that situation, it's a lose-lose either way it turns out. Because if he's convicted, they're gonna make him a martyr. And if he's not convicted, he's gonna be a hero. You know, so either way, the narrative with that one is just totally tainted. And anybody that believed that our former presidents take on this when it first happened didn't influence the way that this is going is crazy. Because that, in my mind, played a big part, because he from day one he made this child out to be a hero, and he created that narrative from the start. So everybody is looking at, I mean, either way, it's a lose-lose situation as far as I'm concerned.
He was in
Right.
the courtroom. I mean, not emotional at all with any of the testimony. His emotion was, he was very cocky and confident that everything was going his way. Rittenhouse, I'm talking about.
Right.
He was, like doing his head like this and nodding at stuff and all this kind of, he was very confident. But then you're gonna get up there in the whatever box and blubber like you five after you done killed two people. And
He was
shot
trying
the
so
other.
hard for tears to come out. He was trying to
He
make
couldn't
tears.
even
I'm
force it.
surprised he ain't had some
So-
onion peels. I'm
I mean,
surprised he ain't had some onion peels in his pocket.
I'm
Right.
I'm surprised he didn't have a handkerchief that had onion powder on it or something. Because I'm telling you, he tried so hard to make
tried
one
so
tear.
hard.
He wanted at least one tear to come down.
And
He
him
couldn't do it.
him testifying at all was part of the setup, because anybody knows that standard practice, and I'm not a lawyer, but normally when you're going up for charges for something that serious, people usually invoke their Fifth Amendment right. They do not testify. Now, he invoked his Fifth Amendment right after he got arrested. But now all of a sudden he want to get up there and testify. That was just a ploy to invoke sympathy from the
Yeah.
jury and from everybody else in the courtroom.
I think it's a whole plan for that state's attorney that's good friends with the entire court system. See, they work for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think all of that was show, like the judge was unhappy and angry at him. You know, the judge is for this boy. The judge is for this boy. He should be disbarred. That's the
Anytime you give him
investigation.
15
He needs to
minutes
be
to get himself
disbarred.
together. Shoot.
Right.
That's my sentiment. I feel he needs to be disbarred because he is already, before the court trial even started, he already had put 2 and 3 different mandates that had nothing to do. The only thing that he ended up doing was he dismissed one juror who made a racial joke. You know what I'm saying, about killing somebody, about somebody being killed. How many bullets does it take to kill somebody or something like that? That's the only thing that he did. And he was nice to him. He was actually nice. He didn't get that angry at that guy.
Right.
You know, he was like, I'm sorry, sir, but we have to do this. And that's just to make it look like he's trying to be fair. But that's the last thing that he's doing. He needs to be disbarred. Because I'm gonna tell you, like I know that this boy really needs to take a plea. He needs to try to make a deal. He needs to show some remorse. He needs to show some remorse that lives were lost because of him, and he's not. Nobody told him to do what he did. And he needs to ask God for forgiveness and try to live his life in protective custody.
And
he's going to be in, it's going to believe this. It's going to be a bunch of.
Oh yeah, but in their mind, the only thing that they thinking is that them good wonderful people who got out there and supported those beautiful people when they shouldn't have. They should have stuck with their own kind. They thinking they got what they deserve, so they don't feel no remorse for the lives that were lost.
No. Plus the fact that the person, like you were saying, the juror that was dismissed,
right?
You got to think that the attorneys agreed that this was the type of person that you wanted on the jury
Mm-hmm.
from the get-go.
Oh yeah.
This is somebody that was picked, you know. So
If
if
he
you
hadn't have told that joke, he would still be on there.
He
He
was
already
still
had his
there.
vote. The
I
boy
know,
is
so
in.
I'm saying,
He already
so,
had his vote. The boy
so
is in.
how many others are on the jury that feel the
All of
same
them.
way? You know
And
what
if,
I'm saying?
I'm not so sure. I can't even say I can't vouch for the one black guy.
How
I
about
can't
that?
vouch for him.
How about
He
that?
probably got a Confederate flag somewhere too. And the reason I'm saying it like that so hard and harsh is because you got to understand that there's nobody really fighting for what we need to be fought for. There's
Right.
nobody fight because the prosecutor is with them.
Yes.
The
Mhm.
prosecutor is with the judge. The
Mhm.
prosecutor has been in this judge's chambers before. He's been probably to his home before. He's been, so there's no private attorney that is fighting for these people's rights and that their lives died, that they died. And so look at how if I had a lawyer and if I was in that same situation, it's no way that we would let all of them people pick all of those jurors and not one other black person come through. You got one token to satisfy the people that's going to yell. You got one token. You know what I'm saying? I would have never allowed that. And the lawyers are the ones who picked them.
That's
and I
it.
want to know,
His
like,
lawyer and the state's attorney. So the state's
That's
attorney's
it.
on his
Yeah.
side. The lawyer's on his side. And they
Right.
trying to see how they can get this boy off.
right.
Right.
People,
I have
people
no
don't
confidence in
realize
them.
state's attorneys work for the state. Public
Mhm.
defenders work for the state. The judge they are all employed by the same person.
They're
You know?
friends.
So that's the first thing. And it's just such an irony that both of these high profile trials that they could only find one acceptable black person to be on each of these juries.
Well, that's just like with the McMichaels. McMichaels, who is an ex-police officer, he after when he retired from the police, he started working for the state's attorney's office. And when the situation came up and the state's attorney realized who the shooter was, she told him, at first she was going to go ahead and move forward, but then she realized that it would be somebody would associate the fact that he had formerly worked for her.
Right.
So she reclused herself and assigned another state's attorney, right? But come to find out, that state's attorney had employed Travis,
The son. Yep.
So, I mean, what? I mean, is there no way to have justice in this country?
And just the fact that they only think that on both of these juries, that they could only find one acceptable in their eyes black person to be on these juries, that speaks volumes in and of itself. Because that says that they don't think black people are intelligent enough. They don't think black people are capable of being impartial, and they just don't think that we can be the jury.
I.e., if you think back about it, how I always comment when the show starts, let's call him by his whole name, Dr. Ted Sutton.
Exactly.
Let's call him by his whole name, Dr. Ted Sutton. You don't think that Dr. Ted Sutton could do it, but Billy Jim Bob could be on there. Your plumber can be on the panel. You know what I mean? The starving artist can be on the panel. The person that works at Bethlehem still can be on there because they're a wonderful person. But you mean Dr. Ted Sutton, his credentials, his demeanor, his swagger, or something like that, you'll find out something that's wrong with all of them before you would put a person on there with a PhD.
In the McMichaels trial, one of the jurors that they dismissed, one of the African American jurors that they dismissed, who was college educated and had all educational credentials that you could think of. They said that they didn't think that he was intelligent enough to be on the jury. I mean, first of all, I didn't know that being on a jury, first you get randomly selected for jury duty. So
Right.
I didn't even know that intelligence was a factor. They just pick
It's
your name
not.
out of hat, so to speak.
It's not.
And intelligence doesn't have anything to do with it. It's supposed to be, can you judge this case impartially and fairly? So
Right.
that, I mean, I don't even know how that becomes an issue that's good enough to dismiss a juror.
A person that's dyslexic still has an opinion.
Wow.
A person that is ADHD still has feelings. They still know the difference between right or wrong. A person that is a little slower as far as dealing with math and reading, they still understand, that I've been violated. So, they're supposed to be tried by a jury of your peers. So you're not going to tell me everybody in your school was the magna cum laude.
Right.
Was
Exactly.
the best that was the top. It wasn't like that. You're going to have some that may be a little bit more, a little bit less as far as, let's say intelligent as far as the actual academia. But that didn't change that the difference between right and wrong, and that how you feel about a certain situation.
Which
Right.
should
So
be the
that's
standard.
prejudice right there.
Which should be the standard. You know what I mean? Which is supposed to be the standard. But I obviously, something going on that we don't know nothing about, y'all, because obviously it depends on what degree that you have.
Yeah, that's
what,
insane.
I'ma
That
say
makes
this.
no sense.
I'm a contradict you and say we do know. We know exactly what's going on.
Absolutely.
I mean, and it's just the fact that some people will sit back and let them pull the wool over your eyes, just like with the police officer lady that supposedly went in her apartment and didn't know that was her apartment. Okay,
Right.
and shot that man. That I forget his name. Both of them gentlemen shot him dead. So they give her 5 years. She'll probably 2 years, 2.5 years. She'll be out.
Yeah.
But her, like the same officer that killed George Floyd, they both have appeals to overturn their actual convictions.
Yeah.
So really, they don't even feel they wrong.
No.
They don't even feel they should get what they actually did get.
Both of
Now,
them
if it had been me, y'all have tried to give me life.
All of them have
already a lethal injection. If it had been the exact turntables, but with them, they don't even feel they should receive what they did get.
Nope. They and both of them have already filed appeals. Already.
The only thing that's different now that used to happen as far as years ago is social media has applied pressure on people, and it has shamed people to not be able to get away with some of the stuff that they've gotten away with over the years. You know what I'm saying? People just didn't have a microphone loud enough to say they doing me wrong. But to be honest with you, if this boy does get off, and I'm hoping that he doesn't, I think it'd be better if he takes a plea and takes accountability for what he did, and people would try to work with him. But if by some way that they try to skate this boy out, not really, it's going to be unrest in the streets. But beyond that, this boy will not be able to live a regular life, no way.
Right.
And to be honest with you, and I'm not sad about that.
Nope,
People
me
need to
either.
be in your face.
Me
People
either.
need to let you know you can't come into Walmart welcomely like this right now. You ain't going to Target without somebody jumping in your face saying you were wrong for what you did.
And
You're not going to get away from the people.
And that's the whole thing, is that he doesn't feel like he's wrong.
Just able to go to the all-you-can-eat Old Country buffet. I'm going to be in your face.
Absolutely.
And when they showed the audience, when he started that fake cry, the only person in the audience who was actually was his mother. The only person. Not a single person in that audience looked upset. Nobody, because everybody knew it was fake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And my whole thing about
that was disrespectful because he's not even a good actor.
No.
He started doing all that blubbering.
right. I don't know what that was about.
I'm like, no, I want you to be smiling, just like you did when
right,
you
keep
went to
that
the bar.
same energy.
You was taking selfies with the Trumpsters, you know, and the Proud Boys, and when you was taking selfies. I want you to smile just the way you was then.
Right.
I want you to be real proud. Hold your head up real high, just like you was doing, being a martyr, saying I'm the one that shot those protesters.
Right.
I want you to do that then. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
just like
Because
the
you
guy.
weren't talking about you was in fear for your life.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't talking about that. Because the self-defense rule doesn't mean when you approaching people and when you coming at them, meaning you put yourself in a situation to be there.
That's right.
To approach. That's not self-defense. Self-defense is when somebody is coming towards you and following you, you know what I'm saying, and you're trying to get away, and you have tried and exhausted every other possibility to get away. And now you are doing something that's reasonable force, not deadly force, reasonable force. Right. So I can shoot you in the leg, because so now you can't run after me.
Right.
But when you're talking about somebody, and no, you took all of those selfies and you took all of those pictures and you were in bars and you had people calling you for speaking engagements, and you know, I want you to be just as proud then about shooting innocent people that you were back right now.
Right.
So don't sit there and cry, because this is the first time you've shown any type of fake emotions about it.
Because 15 minutes later, the judge gave him 15 minutes to get himself together. 15 minutes later, he was composed.
Oh, he was fine.
He was fine. He was fine. He was
fine when he was fake acting. He was fine when he was fake acting.
And guess what? He was even more fine after that break, because he did exactly what he wanted to do. He got to the judge. Just the fact that the judge asked for the break, he know that if nobody, he didn't get to nobody else, but he got to the judge, because the judge already was looking for a reason to be in this corner.
The judge is looking at this boy like his son, the son he never had. So, you know, he gonna do whatever he can to get him off. I think the man need to be removed from the bench. To be honest with you.
Right.
And to be honest with you, the way that he really is acting and displaying, they need to have an investigation on prior cases that he have sent probably black men to prison for longer than what they should have been. They need to have an investigation to see how many black men has he put in jail with as long as he's been on that bench. They need to have an investigation on him.
Yeah, and if anything, if the prosecutor really had any interest in justice, he would ask for him to be recused.
Right. That's like the guy from the Capitol rioting that I think the one that just got the time 30-some months. If you recall in the beginning, like I said, when they thought that Trump was gonna pardon them. You know how he was acting. He was telling them, I'm a vegan. I can't eat this food. You know, so, and was like going on a hunger strike until they gave him vegan food and all this kind of stuff.
That's the one that was wearing the horns and the little bite to get up.
The QAnon mascot.
Yes. Yeah. You know, because he
probably feel real stupid.
He thought he wasn't going to be that long. He really did. He thought he would be out in maybe a month, maybe, you know.
I mean, to be honest with you, the lady that flew the jet there and was talking all that trash, I'm white with blonde hair. I'm a white woman with blonde hair. I ain't going to jail. The only reason why she going to jail is because she said I'm a white woman with blonde hair and I ain't going to jail.
Right. And
What
she,
was
and
the
she
job?
put it in
That's the
writing,
only
so she
reason.
couldn't
That's the
deny it.
they couldn't let you go. They
Mhm.
couldn't let you go. If you had just been quiet, wrote a letter, I apologize, or didn't know what I was a part of, and it was going to happen the way that it was supposed to.
Yeah.
You white,
Yeah.
you a woman, you
Yeah.
got blonde hair,
Yeah.
and you got a good job, so you know some people. We're gonna put you in the back. We actually extend when this is gonna happen. Most people are gonna forget about some of this, and when you go to court, you come in quiet, don't come in with no cameras, and you're gonna go home.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're gonna you gotta read story time in some schools. That'll be your community service, and all this and that. You go in there, you read Cat in the Hat, you know what I'm saying, and we don't have to deal with this no more. But she was the one that got arrogant, wanting to tell everybody what their secrets are.
Mhm.
You can't tell their secrets.
That's
No.
right.
Why
Same thing make you laugh or make you
all white
cry.
women with blonde hair that got good jobs go?
Mhm.
You weren't supposed to tell them black women that.
Mhm.
You weren't supposed to tell them black men that. You know what I'm saying? Why you tell them our secret? Now we got to make an example out of you.
Right.
Mhm.
We was going to let you go because you white and you got a good job.
Right.
And the blonde hair is just an additive.
Right.
That's it.
At you now, though.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've seen it. I've seen it before. That's like those women that they bring a black man when they in college home just to piss daddy off.
Mm-hmm.
To show him that I'm free and I can do what I want to.
Wanna do. Yeah.
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 So they'll hook up with you. They just won't. They don't want to marry him. They just want to, hook up with the guy and make daddy mad and all this, that, and the third.
And then end up crying rape or something and have the black
Oh,
guy
yeah.
locked up.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
So ruin his future.
Exactly. And then I turn around and say, I'm not prejudiced.
No.
I dated a black guy. Some of my best friends are black.
They need that one so they can always say, I got that black friend. I got that one black friend. Now you've never invited him over to your house. He don't date you wouldn't let him date your cousin or nothing like that. You got a single cousin. You ain't never offered to introduce them. You know what I'm saying? But you always got that one token, you know what I'm saying? And look, and he just is happy. His middle name is Sambo. You know what I'm saying? He is just so happy. He's so happy to be around y'all that he don't know what to do with himself.
I wonder if you'd be happy if you knew what they called you at Sunday dinner.
How about that? Before you came in.
Exactly. Don't think for 1 minute. Don't think for 1 minute that ain't the topic of conversation when you're in the round. But y'all know how we do. We can stay on
move right into my topic because
we can stay on this all day long. We gonna go on to Gina Lee's topic.
This just piggybacks right on top of what we've been talking about. I found an article where 3 high school students in Woodsboro, Texas, on Halloween. This was their Halloween costume.
Oh shoot.
Okay. And they went and tased a black teen to the point where he passed out and bystanders had to call 911 and have him taken to the hospital. And then they did the same thing to another black child who was much younger than the teenager. And that same night, they were allowed to play football at the Friday night Woodsboro Eagle football game. And so the reporters asked the school, well, why would you allow them, play, knowing that accusations were going to be charged with a crime? And the principal of the school said, well, we can't do anything because it happened off of school grounds. Okay, so in other words, you telling me if they had shot somebody and it happened off of school grounds, you just gonna let them back in school because it happened outside
and on the team.
So they played like nothing happened. like nothing happened. And this boy laying in the hospital from being tased. Two individuals laying in the hospital from being tased. One of them a very young child, and other one was a teen the same age they were. And it's just it's sad that we have gotten to this point again. This country is back to the and here you got this man, like you were talking about, CC. This man is in jail. What he got, 30 months or whatever. This is ridiculous. But yet and still, if the tables were turned, we would probably get life. For an attack like this. I was like, get the heck out of here. We've gone back to this. To allow your children to go outside with Ku Klux Klan uniforms on for Halloween.
I'm telling you, they've been in they so bold now, but this is all the residuals from the Trump era. But just like I said the other day, I'm glad to just know who they are now.
Right.
They've been hiding from us for years, pretending, wanting us to be that one token black friend that they have and all that. So I'm just glad to know. And by no means do I think that all wonderful people are this way. I don't want nobody to get me wrong. But those who are, that been hiding in the shadows and too scared to come out and say it, I'm so happy that now they show them. When people show you who they are, believe them.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I'm gonna move it right along to my second topic.
All right,
my second topic. It doesn't deal with that, but it's in regards to what we always start the show off with, and Party Marty always mentions it, that we're dealing with occurrences in climate and storms and wildfires and all kinds of things that are just catastrophic now. Well, an island in Nigeria, Lagos, I'm sure all of you have heard of it. Lagos is actually washing away. It's actually washing away. They have a picture, and I'll show it to you in a second. The gentleman is standing on, imagine this, he's standing on what we would consider a beach. But where he used to live is about maybe 2 miles in front of him underwater. Underwater. This is how much the sea has eroded Lagos. And we're not talking no primitive town, nothing like that. We're talking a busy business district. This used to have high rises and apartments and all of that. This wasn't just like no primitive town. Right. This was a business district. And the buildings, this is what the buildings are starting to look like. This is him standing, looking out to where he used to live. It's underwater.
Wow.
So they're saying, excuse me, they're saying that their water level is rising 1 to 3 meters almost weekly. And that's why this is happening. And they're saying because of the the water coming in, it's destroying destroying the buildings. They said even what we would call our capital, the capital is now underwater. The person who is the leader of the country now has to live in, just normal housing along with the other people in the town. He's the chief. I'm sorry. Excuse me. the chief right here,
Mm.
this is where he has to live there. Okay, because the castle, basically, where he used to live, is now underwater.
Wow.
Mm.
So I just say this because climate change is a very important issue.
It
Yes,
is.
it is.
I mean,
Yes, it
and
is.
a lot of people really, it's like, we got other problems. Yeah, we do. Yes, we do. Absolutely. But if the water washes everything away, all the problems will be secondary.
Mhm.
Believe me. Okay. So just wanted to bring that up. I'd like everybody to, think about recycling and those kinds of things. It's important. It is important. So,
Mm. It definitely is. It definitely, Jen, at one time, when I lived in town, I used to always think that recycling was funny, you
mhm,
know. But now I used to say, it's all trash. Just put it all in the trash. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? So I definitely understand that mentality. But from hearing all of these stories about these icebergs melting and, water levels receding and all of this kind of stuff, it has even caused me to take a second look at it and say, like, what can I do on a small level because every little bit helps. Now
right.
I make sure I put my trash out on Wednesday, but Friday I put my recycling out. I'm always ordering something, so I always got a lot of cardboard boxes and stuff.
Mhm,
Amazon, me and Amazon just got a love affair going on, but I
mhm,
make sure that I put my recycling out. And I said, people say that's not going to help or whatever. Does it help? I don't know. To be
right.
completely honest, I don't know if the little part that I do is a help or
It
not. But
helps.
at
It
least I
helps.
can say that I tried to do my part. And if
Yeah,
everybody else tried to do their part, then maybe we can make some type of difference.
right.
Yeah.
If the president or the government agencies would really really crack down on some of these industries with their emissions and into the air and so forth, so that the ozone is not completely destroyed, then perhaps we could really, like you say, we could all make a difference. We could all make a difference. So, and I'm gonna
So
move on.
recycle, y'all. Recycle. Don't lump all your trash together. Put them Amazon boxes outside on Friday for recycling.
Okay. So, and my last topic was the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Veterans Day was the on the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour. Supposedly is when World War I was supposed to be officially ended. Okay, so that's why we celebrate Veterans Day. But Veterans Day is supposed to celebrate, like I said, the end of World War I. But Memorial Day is supposed to be a somber remembrance of the lives lost in service.
I didn't know that.
So that's the difference. That's why it is appropriate to say, because I and as I posted this morning, I felt strange saying Happy Veterans Day
Mm-hmm.
because of so many lives that were lost. But they say it is okay to say Happy Veterans Day because you are celebrating the end of World War I.
Okay.
But Memorial Day is when you're supposed, you're not supposed to say Happy Memorial Day.
Okay.
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 So
Now,
all y'all gotta do is watch
now-
Simply Us. You'll learn something.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Memorial Day, that was started by actually when some slaves had actually dug up there was a mass grave that had a lot of the soldiers that fought in the Civil War, and they had not been recognized. And
Right.
So
some
is that why
slaves-
they always go to the tomb of the unknown soldier at that time?
no.
Not at that time. Not at that time. But what they did is it was a mass grave, and they actually dug them up and actually gave them a proper burial. And then there was a lot of people of color that fought in the Civil War that they did not take time to really acknowledge that the part that they played. So the actual people of color had actually started choosing that day, and they chose that day to start having a parade where they just and I say in the parade where they honored the people who had fought and they had died and they had not been recognized. And from that
Right.
point on, it just got on. And then I think Eleanor Roosevelt, I think, was the one that ended up later, acknowledging what they were doing, and they tried to make it national.
Right. Mm-hmm. So
I think, Gina, didn't one time you comment on that or something? Or why do I recall someone saying that?
yes, we did. We had a show on that Memorial Day.
Right.
Right. And I remember little tidbits that, when persons talk about topics on the show, I can recall, being able to, actually recall talking about it. And that means that I'm able to speak on that topic. If a lot of persons don't understand exactly what I'm saying, for the novice that doesn't really know all those things. First of all, everybody, great points and stuff. And Doc, I'm gonna let you get in there. I did want to say this. Wait a minute. Now, how does that go? Wait a minute. The gentleman. How do I word this? Okay. The guy that shot the three people at the Black Lives Matter. What's his name again?
Kyle
Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse.
Okay, Kyle Rittenhouse. Now, Doc made a good point about this situation. As I was looking back at it, I meant to make mention of it. They told his attorney not to go up that avenue that he went on. And he went there anyway. And Doc said something about that. I want to speak a little more on that. Did it appear to be Doc and Gina and Cece like he could have also been sabotaging the trial itself?
Oh yeah, we said
I think so.
That was the prosecutor that they told not to go up there, and that was the sentiment that we all thought the same thing. Is
Who was
that
friends with the judge?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I stepped away. I thought about that. I didn't hear y'all comment on it. But can you elaborate just a little more for me, for the novelist, to tell me some things that were said then?
Well, we were talking and discussing about, the trial overall, but the judge has been showing a certain level of prejudice on one side over the other. And that is, pretty much just how that's been going. But he really rebuked this state's attorney, in an unprecedented way, and actually even mentioning that this could be a position of dismissal of the case. And the difference is, if he dismisses it with prejudice, it's saying that he cannot receive a fair trial in the future, so they won't be able to retry him, like double jeopardy. So they're saying that they won't be able to retry him. And so, but I think that they're trying to find any way that they can to get this young man off, and this is one of the loopholes to possibly do it.
And just like we were saying, the state's attorney, the judge, they all are employees of the state. You know what I'm saying? They all work for the same people. So even though the state's attorney is supposed to be the one that's prosecuting him, like Doc said, the judge, the public defenders, they're friends. They work in the same courthouse. They eat lunch together. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff. So, I mean, I when I heard that, I just thought the fix is in, but
And I had mentioned the fact that in the Ahmaud Arbery case that the defendants had worked for the state's attorney previously also.
Mhm.
So, they're what can you say? What can you
And
say?
it's so ironic because when they supposedly abolished slavery, one of the things that actually was written down, it was saying that slavery would be, abolished and could only be into play if a person is incarcerated. And so it's saying that that's what makes that can still make a person now a slave. And that's when you talk about that 13th Amendment and how things went down, as far as with all of that, so actually when slavery was over, they started picking up people for vagrancy, or if you didn't have a certain amount of money in your pocket, and they would lock you up for 6 months, but they would work you out. So you would have to work some of those cotton fields, you would have to dig some of those ditches, and everything. So they were making slavery legal. And so now they privatized the prisons.
It was at that time they called it what, indentured servants?
Well, no, actually, indentured servants had better rights than us.
This is the prison industrial complex.
Right.
Mhm.
Wow.
They're making money. There are certain prisons, especially down south, that have to have a certain number of prisoners in order to stay open. They have to. And in order to stay open and get those federal dollars, they have to have a certain amount of prisoners on premises.
And they actually had to dismiss a judge who was sending people to the same prison that he had invested in. And it came out later that he was actually a conflict of interest because he was sending people that should have gone home for probation, should have gone home because it was traffic, and he was sending them to his jail that he owned.
And that's horrible. I'm not making light of it, but I'm sitting up here thinking in my mind, Law and Order is my favorite show, and they always rip things from the headlines. I saw that on Law and Order.
I work on that show. I work on that show. When they talk about the certain things that's dealing with the streets and the gang, I'm a consultant for that show. And so, well, actually, the one that's the SVU, this with the sexual, assault.
Right, that's the one that it was on.
Yeah. I work on that. Now I don't work on all of them. They call me as a specialist for certain ones. Like the ones that was dealing with gangs, the one that was dealing with, certain things that, that they called me in on. But that is something that is just unprecedented to happen, that you got these people that have invested in these jails and these prisons. You know what I'm saying? I mean, unfortunately, the guy who used to have The Price is Right, Bob Barker, invested a lot of his money into the prison system. He actually, and you can only shop from a certain book that had Barker toothpaste, Barker toothbrushes, Barker.
I remember that Barker toothpaste. Mm-hmm.
I
didn't know it was associated with Bob Barker, but I remember.
Yeah, that's what they did. You know what I'm saying? They had that Bob Barker. So I guess he said the price was right.
Wow. Hey, people don't know there's good points, everybody in the panel. Hey, people don't realize this, but back in the day, one of the most prestigious movies that ever come out was Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
Paul Newman stole it. I mean, what's his name? Paul Newman, what's his name? Whatever it is.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's what it was. What we have here is a failure
to communicate.
Yeah, and that's what it was about, him on the chain gang. And they went over there and they showed him, the man would send him out there and they'd work on people's fields and stuff like that. And his wife would come outside and give him a pie and all that kind of stuff. So we know that to be true. We definitely know that to be true. Hey, y'all, listen. Doc, I know you, as usual, don't got no topics. You speak on anything and everything that comes through. We got to go to the doctors today. So, do you have anything you want to talk about? We got
Yeah,
10 minutes.
well, just real briefly and things, I just wanted to say that I was looking at something where they had a article that was talking about in Austria to get people to actually get vaccinated. They have allowed some of the brothels to say that a person can come in and get 30 minutes of free sexual influence with a prostitute to if you would get vaccinated, and that's actually real. So because some of the brothels had closed down, so they're offering people 30 minutes with a prostitute free of charge with they say your sexual fantasy or your sexual experience. They said in the paper, it says your sexual experience for 30 minutes. There if you definitely get vaccinated. So I guess they took people getting vaccinated to another level.
Hey, Gina, you might have to take one for the team, baby. You might have to take one for the team, Gina. I'm just saying. We try and get this we try and get this disease, this vaccination thing going on. Ain't no love. Close your eyes. Call him Denzel. You might have to take one for the team.
Yeah, and also, I just wanted to say, you know what? With my daughter's Sweet 16 party, it was a success. It was a blessing, and it was actually her birthday was on Monday, but it was actually she had a little get together with her friends on that Saturday, and I actually had somebody like Cornell West. I had Harriet Tubman's great grandniece, and she called in. And she actually gave her some words of encouragement, and also the guy named Dr. Umar Johnson. She did a video for her telling her to be successful. And the singer Mario. She was on her video.
Hands up, good job, Daddy.
He was actually on her video. And he said he told her, never give up, keep on trying. And then he sung happy birthday to her. And so it really was a success, and I just want to thank you guys, and and everything, and also to the people. It was two people from the podcast that actually donated $25 a piece. I told my daughter, she was just elated, about it. I just wanted to say, it was truly a blessing, a real blessing.
Well, it was beautiful. I was looking at it. Plus, I didn't know she could sing like that.
She can do a thing.
And it's really ironic and stuff like that. I want y'all to know out there in podcast land as parents and just people. You know what I mean? Gina always tells you, what I mean? She at this time God chose for her not to be a parent. But she talks about her nephews. She talks about who she takes to school. She volunteers and stuff like that. It takes a village, y'all. Do you see how happy and proud Doc is?
They don't have to be blood. They don't have to be blood.
Exactly. You know what I mean? What part do you play? Gina Lee, she reminds me of Mr. Gibson was our teacher at school. He was the person. I was a safety. I was like you.
What's his name? Larry Gibson?
I don't know. He was, what was Mr. Gibson's name? I don't know, but he was a teacher when we went to school. But
might have been.
Yeah, that sounds like his name. But anyhow, cool guy. But anyhow, he was the one that got a lot of us involved. I ain't want to be no chump safety patrol. I ain't no safety patrol. I ain't no bootlicking trustee. I'm West Baltimore Party. I ain't that. And he said, what time you get out of school? I said 3:00. He said, safeties get out at 2:30. I said, huh? He said, what time you get out of school? I said, 3:00. He said, safeties get out at 2:30. We get out early for dismissal. I said, well, what y'all got to do? He said, no, we just get together and walk, talk, eat some little donuts and stuff. He said, man, how about them Oreos? I said, how about them? He said, we went to the game last week. I said, huh? He hit me with a couple things. And then what he hit me with, Ted and Gina, that made the most thing? He said, no, the safeties can't let people J-rock and stuff like that. So that's all right, part. I got to have somebody that can handle these chumps, man, because, them boys is bigger than you. And I had a complex.
Anyway, bigger than who? I don't care who bigger than what. Are you crazy? You know how I do it. He had me. He said, that's all right, Jack. I need to get one of them big boys over there. Big boy, I took his money last week. I took his donut from him last week. So he had me. He gave me the mind game. He tricked me. Gina, he tricked me. He tricked me, Doc. You feel me?
For the betterment, though.
Yeah, for the betterment. And after that, I became the captain of the safeties. I told them boys, man, listen. I tell everybody, yeah, man, they cut cross, they did that. I said, yeah, they chose your corner. It was 3 posts, Gina. It was the post right there at the playground. Remember?
Yep.
It was the post down there at where they came out the door for the elementary, and then all the way down the end that y'all call the front door. It was 3 posts. So he said, yeah, well, they cross over down there. You know what I told them? I used the mind game on them. They went down there to your post because you the chump. They didn't jaywalk at my post. I'm party. They jaywalked at your post because they picked you because out of the 3, you the chump. So we made sure I don't care who you jaywalked on and wasn't my post.
I know that's right.
Yeah, I wasn't a chump. You know what I mean?
And also, I just wanted to share, with everybody, I'm actually getting honored at Chester High School in Chester, PA tomorrow, where the youth actually went to the administration and they asked, with the work that I had been doing with the youth, I'd stopped a gang war between the 2 projects a couple of years ago. And then I dedicated going back and forth up there to try to help them, going to court for some and just mentoring some. And so they are actually honoring me for the work that I've been doing in Chester and Chester High on tomorrow, with the whole 9. So I'm just elated, to just have that opportunity.
Hands up. Doc, listen, let me tell you something. To everybody out there in podcast land, this is a serious thing before we move on. Don't let people tell you what your worth is. Stop, Cookie. Don't let people tell you what your worth is. You know your worth. Don't let people tell you what your worth is. Don't let somebody tell you you don't even have the right credentials to be on a jury. What kind of games they playing? You ain't even good enough to be on something that's mandated, that's mandatory. If you don't come to jury trial, you don't come to jury duty, we're going to lock you up. And then you turn around and the next breath say, nah, I can't even find 3 good black people. Don't let nobody tell you that. Don't let nobody tell Gina Lee, who's retired from the state of Maryland and stuff like that she's not able or capable to be a leader. Let nobody tell her that the tobacco chewing white guy, Billy Jim Bob, that has a stethoscope around his neck and has a white jersey on him and his tag say doctor. Don't let him tell you that he's more doctor than our Dr. Sutton. Don't do it. CC, I fell in love with CC for intelligent conversation. I fell in love with me. My wife gained her Range Rover, her new truck, her fancy home, her good husband. She gained them because she decided that she didn't want to be a thot. I don't want to talk slick as I can. I don't want to be ignorant. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to be in a gang. I want to be a lady. I want to be a woman. She decided that she wanted to do that, and in the process of that, some man picked up and said, I want that to be my wife.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Don't let them sell y'all short. People of color, don't let them do it. And one other thing before I go, let me tell you something else too. It's good to have the slickest tennis in the world. It's good to have the Michael Jordan. It's good to have the Pumas. It's good to have them slick tennis. But somewhere along the line, you got to get yourself a suit.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get a pair of Gators. Shout out Tiffany Smith, Rick, her and a wonderful husband, Charles, and stuff like that. We going to what we call the Players Ball, right? What is it called?
Winter Wonderland.
Winter Wonderland. They had that every year. At this year, where's it going to be?
I think it's at the Armory.
Yeah, Armory, War Memorial. Last time it was at Diamonds and stuff. But we gets out there and we puts on our tuxedo. We puts on them crocodiles. I look a lot of y'all. I'm saying this because the other day I was at the place K&G, just looking at some suits, and the guy came in and I watch him. They got to come in for y'all. They got all those clothes. Every time it's a funeral, every time they kill somebody, they got to come take y'all up there to get a suit.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't have not one suit in your wardrobe. And the only time you get to wear it is when somebody gets murdered. That's not hip and cool, y'all. That's not hip and cool, man. Get yourself one nice outfit. Al
Right.
Wise out there listening. He is a big dude like me. I ain't as big no more. But Al's a pretty boy. He a little bougie. He a big guy. Like Ted, 6'3", 6'4", but he weigh about 300. He a big dude, right? I see him when we get dressed and he dress up and put on his tux and stuff.
Clean.
He clean, Jack.
Mhm.
Clean. You feel me? But he dressed regular like everybody else. You gotta have something in your wardrobe, man. You gotta have something that real talk. You gotta have something in there, man. Get your. I'm telling you my opinion. I'm talking about the experience that I had when I was at KNG. I watched a man over there getting his 2 sons and his nephew a suit. He had to buy 3 suits for these kids because somebody had gotten murdered. And I'm listening at them, Ted, Gene, and CC talking in podcast land. We don't have, but this kid had a pair of Pumas on. The other boy had on some Nikes. Man, they had their feet was on fleet. The tennis shoe game was to die for. They had on nice patches, jerseys, and all that kind of stuff like that. But ain't none of them have, not one of them had a suit.
And that's
No,
part of
man.
parenting, people. That's part of being part of the village, whether you're a parent or not. You need to teach that. You need to teach a young man that he should have a dress shirt and a pair of slacks and a pair of dress shoes. You know what I'm saying? A suit, something like that. You know, every time something happened, they shouldn't have to run out and just go buy something the day before. It should already be in their closet.
And really, they need to learn how to tie a tie. Somebody to teach them how to tie a tie.
God is
I've had
touching.
people call me. I've had people call me and ask, can I come to their house? My grandson, he got this special thing he got to go to, and he can't tie a tie. I gotta help. I've helped guys that come. They are outside the courtroom, and they want to put their tie on, and they were waiting for me to help them put their tie on. And I just think that that's just something that's unfortunate for our young men.
God has touched my heart. You know what I mean? And I'm asking y'all. We at the podcast don't ask y'all for a lot. We don't ask y'all for a lot. We don't ask somebody for money. You know what I mean? And nothing like that. We ask you for a little bit of your time and stuff. But God has put on my heart. We got to go. I got a doctor's appointment. God has put on my heart to get Dr. Sutton to spearhead what I'm trying to do. Somebody back in the day had the thing where they was getting people to donate suits and stuff like that. Dr. Sutton always talks about giving out suits and stuff like that. I need y'all out there, Regina, everybody in podcast land. Doc's going to spearhead it. I'm going to be the vice president. I'm on the panel. I'm going to be there. It's my thing, but Doc knows how to do it. But I think that somewhere along the line, we're looking to start some type of mentorship to teach guys about, like Doc said, tying a tie. Teach you how to dress.
That's right.
If you remember the story I did about the teacher that gave up his shoes so the young man could walk across the stage for graduation.
I remember
because he didn't have shoes. So the teacher gave him his shoes.
Wow.
And you know, they were too big for him, but he walked in them anyway.
That's right.
Simply because
they were some big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Because they were some big shoes to fill.
The white establishment wouldn't let this black boy walk across the stage in tennis.
Which that's the travesty right there.
That's the
travesty right there.
What did it have to do with getting your graduation?
Thank you.
Shoes.
Well, and he had great grades, fantastic grades, and the teacher gave him his shoes. He was like, "Oh no, you won't deny him. No, you won't do that."
Well, we're gonna.
That's something right there. That means something right there.
Mm-hmm.
And see, and where they thought they was going to stop a young man, it ended up being the story wasn't about you stopping them. The story was about a person giving up their shoes.
There it was.
The story was about the man giving up his shoes. You know. And I got a young man that right now to this day he loves me and will do anything. But when I met him and I was actually he was part of a group they used to call CBS. It was Calhoun Baker.
Calhoun Baker and Stricker.
and I saw him in
Jump
front
out,
of
boys.
I saw him in front of the Boys and Girls Club, and he just had on a little, and it was snowing, and he only had a shirt on, and I actually, he was like, "Where's your coat?" And he was like, "Man, I don't have no coat. This is all I got." You know, and I took off my brand new Carhartt coat, and I gave it to him. In fact, actually, you know his cousin is you know Omar that be with Brandon.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
his
yeah.
cousin. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I took my coat off and gave him my coat off of my bag. And I'd only wore the coat one time. You know, in fact, actually, I just told him, just let me take out anything I got in my pockets, and I gave it to him. But the thing is that you never know how you'll make a difference in that person's life. And this young man, you know what I'm saying, respects me and will listen. See, the thing is that, when we rebuke these young people, you have to earn the right to rebuke them. You got to earn the right for them to listen. You know what I'm saying? You can't just walk up to someone and be like, stop fighting, get off the table, just stop doing this, that, and the third. But if you have made a difference in their life, they have that level of respect where they feel, you know what, nah, this man, I got it. If he tell me to stop this, I'm going to stop. You earn the right to that, you know?
Yeah, Doc, as usual, what a way to close out. Y'all know the drill. May the work I've done speak for me. May the life I've lived speak for me. When I'm resting in my grave, oh Lord, may they say, may the service we give on these podcasts speak for me. Hands up. Hey, y'all. Cece got to take her old husband to the doctors to make sure everything is right. Hey, y'all, we got to go. That's our time. Kenny
All
Davis,
right, now.
take us home. Now have a great day on purpose. Simply Us, I'm Party. I'm out.
All right.